Well, for more on this now, I'm joined by the widow of the late Charl Kinnear, Nicolette. Thank you for joining me, Nicolette, and I appreciate your time. So this is unfolding and unraveling. The IPID is not happy. They're saying that they're not getting cooperation from the National Police Commissioner in as far as the investigation into the murder of your late husband is concerned. What do you make of it all, these latest developments?
Yes, look, it's rather disappointing in a sense. As everyone knows, I raised the concern with the portfolio committee in October 2020, and they actually went to the Parliament sitting in early last year. And a lot of the questions were raised that the National Commissioner needed to answer. So it's very frustrating that nearly 16 months down the line, we are still left with so many unanswered questions. And then it now comes to light that senior officers are not giving their cooperation in trying to get to the bottom of everything with the investigation.
Given what you know, perhaps from updates from police themselves about the investigation into your late husband's killing, as well as the interactions you've had with the portfolio committee, how crucial do you believe the testimony or evidence or cooperation, at the very least, of the police commissioner is in that line of investigation?
Look, obviously, I believe it's crucial. Hence why we ask the questions, because even prior to me addressing the matter with the portfolio committee, the questions were asked to the National Commissioner already, as into why our guarding was removed in 2019. That is but only one question that we are still left with unanswered. So and likewise there are many others. Why wasn't it reacted on the reports that my husband's phone was pinged, etc. And so there are many questions that I feel the National Commissioner, that IPID would probably want to present to him and ask him, that we need to know in order to get clarity on the investigation.
Do you believe that there are more questions beyond the ones that you've just highlighted for me around the removal of your protection, of your family's protection, as well as the pinging of your late husband's phone? Do you believe that there could be more questions that strike more to the core of possible police involvement?
Look, obviously the IPID's investigation, we know their mandate is to investigate the police service. So obviously their investigation would have dealt or given them maybe more questions than answers that they needed to find out, from the National Commissioner. And for me, it's very, very disappointing that, just because from what I've heard, I mean, this morning I heard with everyone else, because once again the report was leaked, and so it hasn't been shared with us as a family officially yet. But it's sad for me to know that here we have a group of investigators trying to get to the bottom of things, and we're not getting the necessary assistance from the people with the answers or potential answers.
Why do you believe that is the case? Why do you believe that the police commissioner is giving IPID the slip on this particular situation? Do you believe it's malicious? Do you believe that, he's frustrating the investigation, or is it negligence on his part and failure to appreciate that his role is important in this investigation?
Look, at this stage, obviously, as I'm not sure as to how we got to this point, other than what I've heard in media, that has been shared with, that there was several occasions where IPID tried to reach the National Commissioner, and they just couldn't. He was just not available for whatever reason. So for me, it's difficult at this stage to say it is done maliciously. I would like to know, though, And we know we haven't had, besides the Minister's office really giving acknowledgement on receiving the IPID letter, other than that, we haven't had any response. So obviously I can't really make my own assumptions and give an answer to that question at this stage. But I would like to know what the reasons are, though.
In fact, I was about to end off our conversation by saying that if he is watching Khehla Sitole at the moment, and this is not even about personalizing it about the person, it is about an organ of state, a creation of statute and the Constitution, the National Police Commissioner, who has a line of reporting that places him at the level of Director General in terms of seniority in our government. If he happened to be watching, officials in that office, those who hold him to account happen to be watching, as the family of the late Charl Kinnear, who served South Africa as a detective in the police service and lost his life, through, it's presumed at this point, linked to his work. What would you say to him and those that hold him to account?
Look, right from the beginning, I think we as a family, we've made our stance very clear that we will stop at nothing but to get accountability and responsibility, ultimately for what led to my husband's assassination. We also know reports that have come out thus far, unfortunately shows gravely that there is a huge amount of negligence, or there was a huge amount of negligence that led up to my husband's assassination. So my appeal would be is that not only we, IPID need the answers, we as a family need the answers, but the rest of South Africa also needs the answers. Otherwise, we're going to be doing more damage than good, because everybody is going to be drawing their own conclusion as to why do we have the National Commissioner ducking and diving and not answering a simple question like, why was the guarding removed, for example, and maybe all the other questions that has been raised in the interim. So I would definitely say, for whatever reason, if the Commissioner didn't want to meet with IPID, but us as a family as well. I mean, we were told on the 19th that an investigation is going to be launched and done as to why the guarding was removed. That was the 19th of September 2020. To date, as a family, we haven't received an official report with feedback either. So it does seem to be as though in certain instances there might be a tendency that we reply to what we want to, or we respond to what we want to. And as you mentioned, this is not how our Constitution works. We cannot just decide, I'm going to answer this and I'm just going to politely ignore the next one. It doesn't work that way. So, yeah, I definitely would insist on getting those answers.
Lastly, Nicolette, you mentioned the word negligence, and in the context where the wheels of justice move, at a glacial pace at times, in as far as criminal justice is concerned, are you as a family starting to talk, particularly with the word negligence, at other avenues, such as civil proceedings, to try and get some other kind of redress in the meantime?
At this stage, you know what, not really. Our focus has been, we've had a marathon sessions with court. I mentioned last week we had with the Zane Killian bail application, that took 6 months. The past bail application took 9 months, which has been very, very exhausting. But obviously, as the previous IPID report and all the other reports are coming out, it is slowly but surely the puzzle is starting to fit together. And I suppose eventually we would have to sit and make decisions.
All right. Nicolette Kinnear, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your thoughts around these processes with me here on All Angles. That's Nicolette Kinnear, who is the widow of the late police detective, anti-gang unit detective Charl Kinnear, who was killed in 2020.